How's it going, Scrub Gamers? Welcome back to another video here at Scrub Games, and I've got a new video here for you today, and this is to go over the topic of 5 cards that I feel get a big boost in set 3. So if you're interested in finding out what the 5 cards are, then keep watching, and also don't forget you can like, comment, and subscribe, because it keeps you updated with my videos as and when they drop. Also helps on the channel, and as well if you click the notification bell you can get alerts to when my videos do drop, so you can watch them there and then, or at a later time that suits you best. So now we've got that all out of the way, let's go ahead and dive into what 5 cards I feel get a big boost in set 3. So, starting off with the first one, it's Grogu. So you might be thinking, how does Grogu get a big boost in set 3? Like, he's a 2 cost, like, sure you can play turn 1, but he's got 0 power, he's got 5 health, so he's got a decent amount of health, and all he does is tap himself to tap something else so the opponent's down. It doesn't look great. It wasn't played in set 2. Why would it be better in set 3? Well, to answer that question, there's a new card that comes out that makes it a good target and a good viable card to put in your deck to play turn 1 for this card, being Now There Are 2 of Them. So if you haven't seen, Now There Are 2 of Them is a new legendary in set 3. It's a 3 cost cunning event, and its effect is if you control exactly 1 unit in play, then you can play a non-vehicle unit from your hand that shares a trait with the unit you control, and it costs 5 less. So essentially what you can do is play Grogu on turn 1, have him there, and if your opponent plays something, that's not too bad, and if you got the initiative, then next turn you can just use tap Grogu to tap down their units, they can't attack with it, so you've kind of held off that attack. And then use Now There Are 2 of Them to choose Grogu, being the only unit you have in play, because you only played 1 unit turn 1. And now you can play a Force unit from your hand, because you only got Grogu on board, and it costs 5 less. So that means any 5 cost or less Force unit in your hand you can play straight out. So getting a 5 cost out on turn 2 is pretty strong, pretty good. And there are some pretty nice ones as well, and they feature in all different aspects. So you've got these 4 as good examples, because if you're playing Grogu, you're playing the good side, but you can still do this on the other sides. You got, for like blue, you got Kiadi Monday, which is a nice one, making it so if you got 3 units on the board, then it's coordinates live to make it so if your opponent would play a second card that turn, that turn, then you get to draw 2 cards. So that's pretty nice there. You've got, and also he's pretty solid with his stats at 5/7. You've got a Ayla Sakura, which is a 5 cost. It's a 6/5, so a little bit different stats like your Monday, but for green. And then you get a 5/6 on board turn 2, and then if you've got 3 units on board, then whenever she attacks, she takes no damage from that attack. If you attack into a unit, you take no damage while they take 6 damage, which is pretty strong. And then for red, you've got things like Anakin Skywalker, that's a good one, which is a 5 cost 6/6, so like a cheaper man's Poe. And, well, it's kind of cheaper man's Poe in terms of stats, but not in terms of the effect. But then his effect is, once again, everyone would coordinate, where if you got another unit on board along with Grogu and himself, when he swings, he draws a card. That's pretty good, but then again, getting out a 5 cost 6/6 on turn 2 is pretty strong. And then you've also got Plo Koon. This one is a 5 cost 3/6, so a little bit weaker than the others, but he has ambush, he can come straight down and attack, and if you've got 3 users on board, being him, Grogu, and another one, he gains raid 3, meaning he gains an extra 3 power when he attacks, meaning making him a 6/6 when he swings, which is pretty nice. Now, this is pretty good. Like, getting out a big unit like this on turn 2 is very strong, and it makes Grogu a lot better now, because you can play Grogu out turn 1. Now you've got a Force unit in play that's not the easiest to get rid of turn 1, and then it can be used for Now There Are 2 of Them to bring these out, and also his greatest effect by being able to tap himself because he's got no power, to then tap one of your opponent's units down, so you're kind of holding them off, making way so you can start making use of your cards and effects and stuff like that. So that's one card I feel like gets a good boost, and also with this nice event exclusive being something you can pick up from things like expos like UKG and stuff like that, means you can make use of its like nice art here as well. So that's the first one. Now let's have a look and see what the second card is I feel gets a big boost, and that is You're My Only Hope. So this is a card that has been around since set 1, and I was hyped to try it out and thought it was a really nice card because I want to use it for the hand deck, making use of him in like the red version, so you can like use because you can use a lot of things like can't remember the name of the cards now. Thoracles, I believe, stuff like that, to then like do damage to your opponent's base and also reassemble the top 4 cards of your deck, because you look at the top 4 cards, and then you can put on the top, you can rearrange them, so you can put top 2 being the card you're going to draw for your next turn, and then the third card being the card you want to play off this. And if this card is among one of them, you put as 1 or 2 cards you draw, and then have a fourth card, you have to leave it under the third card, or you discard it, whichever you want to do. And I was able to set things up there, so you even got other things in the aspects of hand, like Ezra being able to swing, look at top card of your deck, either keep it there, or discard it, or play it if you have the resource to play it. So you can have that kind of way to set up, and there are things like R2D2 as well. So you have some pretty nice ways to kind of set up things on top of your deck to make use of this. But now with set 3, this becomes a lot better with one of the leaders. And yeah, by the way, just in case, this one allows you to essentially forward a cost of 3, look at the top card of your deck, and play whatever that card is, and it costs 5 less. So kind of doing a reduction just like now there are 2 of them. But if you got 5 or less remaining health on your base, you can then play the card for absolutely free instead. And the leader that kind of gives us a huge benefit is the new Yoda leader, because he's got a nice effect on his leader side, which is by tapping him, if a unit left played this phase, you can draw a card, then put a card from your hand on top of your deck or on the bottom of your deck. So you get to, essentially, when anything moves, be yours or your opponent's card, you get to draw a card, so get a brand new card, and then place any card from your hand either on the bottom of your deck if you don't want it, or top deck if you want to draw back into it, or even use it to set up for things like You're My Only Hope, or it's a deploy effect. Because you remember with Yoda, he's got when deployed effect being to, when deployed, you can mill the top card of your deck, and then you can defeat any non-leader unit that costs the same as or less than the card you milled. So you can set that up easily with that effect to kind of take out something when deployed, which is fantastic. Also coming in with solid stats. And now you've got You're My Only Hope being a nice way to set with Yoda. You can potentially use this to play out on turn, like on 5 resources. A Luke, you could say, like, you see a Luke on top of your deck. Well, you basically take out something from that turn. If something gets removed from the board that turn, be yours or your opponent's card, use Yoda, you draw a card, and you have a Luke in your hands, you put on top of your deck, and then you use You're My Only Hope to look at the top card of your deck, show it's a Luke, and it costs 5 or less, so you pay an extra 2 resources because it's a 7 cost, and play out Luke on 5 resources. Really nice plays that you can make use of, which is really cool. So even then you can have both, now you're, You're My Only Hope, and now there are 2 of them in your deck to kind of play a lot of things cheaper if you want to, if you find the kind of deck to do so. But this is a very nice card that gets a big boost if you're looking to play Yoda, and Yoda looks to be one of the stronger leaders in set 3, looking to come in and be a strong meta deck, just like how Han did in set 2. So that is the second card. Now on to the third card. For the third one, we have Force Throw. Now you're probably saying to yourself after seeing this, Force Throw's always been a good card. It's been a good card since set 1. How does it get a big boost in set 3? Well, I'm going to answer that question exactly, because if you don't know, Force Throw is a 1-cost event, if you can see on the screen, that allows you to choose any player, be it yourself or one of your opposing players, and that player discards a card from the hand, and then if you control a Force unit, you may deal damage to a unit equal to the cost of the discarded card. So you discard a high-costing card, you can do a lot of damage. You discard a low-costing card, you can do a damage. Remember, if you choose your opponent, they can choose which card they want to discard, so you might discard a low-costing card if they have one, to do less damage, but if they've only got high costing cards, they have to discard one of those high costing ones. Or you can use it yourself to force you to discard a specific cost card, like a high costing card, to make sure you're definitely doing a certain amount of damage rather than banking on your opponent having only high costing cards in hand. So this stands for a bit of nice hand control, if you will, for your opponent, and also a bit of damage as well, or some guaranteed damage to come down and potentially take out leaders, because it's a very nice card. If you're playing a force leader, to deploy and then use this on yourself where you got Force Leader out to then make sure you're doing a certain amount of damage to a unit or to your opponent's leader, stuff like things like that to think about. And the reason why I feel this gets a big boost in set 3 is because you get a ton more Force Leaders in the game, because we've got never 18 leaders in this set. Yeah, because it's 16, given that there's 4 per aspect and 2 for each different side of the aspects. Then we get 2 star deck ones, 18 leaders, and among those we get a load of Force units, and there's at least one in every... No, there's not one in every color. Well, actually, no, there is technically now one in every color, because you've got in the green, they haven't got any on the good side because it seems like they don't want to have a green Jedi or Force leader. But we've got on the dark side, we've got things like Palpatine and Dooku. So you still have some on those sides. But from set 3, you got these kind of leaders. Like you got Anakin, Yoda, and Quinlan as like Force leaders in red, blue, and yellow. We didn't have one in the good side of yellow before. So we got that now, which is cool. Well, we did have for the other aspects. And then we've got Maul as well for everyone for the dark side. All these are Force leaders that when you deploy, you have a Force unit, so you can use Force Throw and make good use of scan the card from your hand or your opponent's hand to kind of do some damage. And by using it on yourself, you can guarantee a certain amount of damage if you've got a like high costing card to take out things like your opponent's leaders and stuff like that. Like if your opponent deploys with Quinlan and you have Quinlan, you choose yourself, discard a 7 cost card, you didn't get to do 7 damage to theirs before they get to do anything, which is really cool. So that is why. So yeah, Force Throw was a good card to begin with, but now with more Force leaders, you can kind of guarantee that you're going to have a unit in play to deploy, which is what the benefit was when playing like with Turret in set 1 or even Rey in set 2. So that is the third one. Now we go on to the fourth card. Now for this fourth card, we've got Commission. Now this is one that technically it doesn't get a big boost, but with every set that comes out, we potentially get new targets for this card. And this is a card we got in set 2. That's one of those small cards that you can basically resource, and then later on in any turn going forward, you can then smuggle it out using smuggle cost to play it from your resources. So you don't use anything from hand, and it's a 1-cost event that's a kind of a searcher card. So that allows you to look at the top 10 cards of your deck and grab any card that's a specific trait, being Bounty Hunter, item, or transport, reveal it, and then draw it. And then put the rest of those cards that you look through at the bottom of your deck in random order. So this is a pretty nice one, and it gets better because there's new stronger items, like there's becoming stronger items as we get every set. There's also becoming more transport cards in the space units, and because there's some that like space units that have transport because technically they transport things like what's it called, like Razor Crest and stuff like that. They have transport on them, so you can search them. And also you got more bounty hunters we get out, because even though we don't have bounty hunters like a bounty hunter pure set like we did with set 2, we do get bounty hunters still in sets like as like odd cards, or even because like we've got a lot of those in yellow. And it's quite a nice one. I feel it gets better, like just gets better with every set. Why it doesn't get the biggest boost in set 3, I feel it is one that does get a nice boost in set 3, because you've got some nice cards in there, that item and transport. And like for examples, we got like the bounty hunter cards. Like you even got a new bounty hunter card in Cad Bane. So this is a like, card you can use to kind of search for that 7-cost Cad Bane as well. So you've got some really nice ones. And like, while Boba is now like suspended, there are still decks like Cad Bane, like these are Cad Bane that can now shine a bit better rather than be in the shadow of Boba and not really played. And you got some really nice underworld units if you want to go for green for that, because you got like 4 Lom and Zucker's combo. Those cards working really well together. You got the Boba unit, which is still a pretty good unit, despite being like the leader being banned. And you also got Cad Bane as well, being a nice like big-ended unit you can play now in Cad Bane too. You also got some nice cards, remember, because you got items as well. So you got a lot of item cards, and items are usually a upgrade cards, and you got some really nice ones if you want to play a Force deck as well. You've got things like General's Blade being the new one that you can put on that if it's on a Jedi, when that Jedi attacks, as well as getting a free booster stats for a cost of 3, you then get to play the next unit you play cost 2 less. So cost reduction being a really nice thing there. And as you saw, there are a lot more Jedi units in play now we've got with this set. Love that we got more Jedi leaders, because we didn't have any. We hadn't had any before until this set, so that's cool. You got like Jedi lightsaber, focusing more on the Force trait, which does the same cost and stats, free to boost for the cost of 3, but then makes it so the on attack if the unit is equipped to as a Force, gives the defender -2/2. And you got things like Dark Saber also being a unit, giving a more focus on Mandalorians, and also having not worry about the aspect penalty if you are, but if you're playing Commission, you're playing green anyway. And you got Fallen Lightsaber for the dark side, be able to give it to dark side Force units, let them do throw out damage willy-nilly to the ground units when it plays, giving also same stats as for the cost as Lightsaber and Blade. So pretty nice item card you can grab. And also there's other ones like there's like the jetpack being also one. Like there's a lot of upgrades that have the item because that equips. So there are some nice ones there, not just these ones here. And the last lot for like the ever kind of trait it looks for being transport, you got nice ones here as well. Like you got both the Millennium Falcons being cool ones. You got Fett's Fire Spray, which while Boba is banned, Django can still play it, getting the full benefits like Boba did. And there's also, well, you don't really want to play it in the ever Boba since he's a heroic leader. But Fett's still can be played in Django for the same way as just like a 6 cost unit that can come into play and do 5 damage straight away to base by coming in ready or being active when it comes in. And then you got the Marauder as well, being a nice one that can help you ramp. Like it can be a nice combination in ramp if you play the heroic side of green, because it's a transport unit as well, and also has ambush pretty nice. And you got Survivor's Gauntlet as well, being one of those ones for blue to kind of move around your opponent. Oh well, yours are your opponent's upgrades, and it's a transport one for blue as well. So you got some nice cards that you probably didn't know had transport that could be searched for this. And I thought I'd just put it in there because it's a pretty nice card. Like I didn't realize how nice a card this was until I played it against the Cardiff PQ. And yeah, it's a very nice card. It just gets boost every set, and I think it could be beneficial. So that is that one. Now we go on to the last one, and that is Bombing Run. And this is the one that I feel like it's got the most hype, like had the most hype for a card coming in set 3, because since it was a focus on token units for set 3, and their stats being either 1-1 or 2-2, and the potential to be to spam them out and get loads on board. People would just say like the next set's just gonna die, or something needs to be done about bombing run, things like that. Like bombing run, because it just literally for cost of 5, you do 3 damage to every unit in that one arena. So you either choose the ground arena or space arena, and you do 3 damage to all. And this was still a good card in set 1 if you play like the hard control decks and like the red side, because it could just come down and do a lot of damage, but you wipe it out of board as you do like bits of ping and stuff like that. And this is a nice one that yeah, could just basically take out all your opponent's little units if they try to go unit spam or try and make use of them. If they're not already if they're getting units out, they might be getting clone units out so they can have coordinate live, or they may be having loads of battle droids so they can use exploit. And if they're not using exploit and just keeping the units out, you can just take them all out and even damage things that they have on board that aren't tokens. So that's it. Like this one's pretty simple one because, like I said, as discussed before, we move on to like these two token units being a weight things you can just if they spam out, you can just wipe out boards. But those are the 5 cards that I feel get a big boost in set 3. If you think I've missed one that probably would be better on us on this list, then feel free to comment down below. It is nice to just kind of see what other people think about boosts, like cards that are more improved in the next set from previous sets. And that's it for today. So thank you for watching. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.
Like a boss.